Welcome everyone. Can't wait to get into today's Friday review. So glad you could join me here on the Cabral Concept. Brand new product review. You won't want to miss this. Simple, less than $20 bottle of a solution that works with your own immune system that I think every household should have. So my household now has a bottle. I'll share that with you. Book review. I alluded to it last week. I said I would bring it this week. A great book. Really, I put off, it's probably been out a year or so, maybe longer. I put off quite some time reading it. I'm glad I read it. I mean, it's a great book. I want to share that with you. It's kind of like the anti-time management book. And then 2 research studies, one on autoimmune issue that you don't want to sleep on autoimmune issues. Because just because even a lot of people using pharmaceutical drugs to mask the symptoms, it comes back to bite you in the end. Don't let that be you. We'll give you a plan as to how to reverse those autoimmune issues. And then the last but never least research study for the week is one on how to protect your knees as you age. My next door neighbor just had a knee replacement. I said, you know what? There's so much that people can be doing to preserve these joints. Let's give them something easy, straightforward, and actionable that you can do every single day. So let's dive right in the show. We always start with a little bit of a recap, so that's where we're going to go here today. If you missed any of the shows this week, they're all at stephencabral.com/podcasts. And on Monday, we went over doing these 5 things that can make you unstoppable. Like, I love the term unstoppable in life, and that's because whatever you put your mind to, you will achieve. There's just no doubt about that. So that's going to be Monday's show. 7 simple ways to drain your lymphatic system and why that even matters. Like, if you don't know what your lymph is and your lymphatic system, I want to teach you about that because it's vitally important for weight loss, for overall health, detoxification, and so much more in the body. Number 3, a new highly controversial study on coffee. It's actually an amalgam. It's a bunch of different studies that have been released lately. Some showing benefits, some showing cons. I kind of pull it all together and share. They're all right. Literally, both sides of the coin are typically always right. But what does it mean for you? Where do you fall in this spectrum, and how much coffee or caffeine, black tea, might be right for you? And then yesterday's show was the new science of becoming resilient to stress. Brand new research study talking about specific receptors in the brain. What can we do to optimize those to reduce anxiety and depression and worry and overwhelm, even in the face of stress, because we're never going to be able to get rid of stress, right? All those shows, stephencabral.com/podcasts. Today's episode 3416. So all the show notes for today, the research, the product review, and the book will be at stephencabral.com/3416. Let's dive right into it. First product this week. Again, I always give credit where it's due, and I try to give credit to my wife when the due is always there. So she reintroduced me this product called Magic Molecule. And I was like, oh, pretty amazing name. What's it all about? And so I'll tell you why she recommended it for our family in the first place. And then I said, great, I'm going to do some research on it. I'm going to look into it, all these amazing things. Well, really what it is, it's an amazing name, by the way, Magic Molecule. We'll get that nice alliteration there. But it is hypochlorous acid. So something naturally produced by our own body and the white blood cells, which we'll talk about in just a second. But really, it taglines itself as an antimicrobial skin spray. And I would say, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what you're going to use it for. So like burns, cuts, scrapes, there's many more applications. I'll give those in a second, and like who benefits in terms of skin rashes. But what it does is that it does the job and it works with your own natural white blood cells to kill what? Microbes, pathogens, bacteria, viruses, and fungi on your skin. So if you have athlete's foot, could be a use case. Again, I have to give you my disclaimer now because I just named a technical disease, but I can't provide any medical advice, medical treatments, medical cures, medical diagnosis. What I want to do is share with you how nature intended us to heal. That's what the Cabral Concept's really all about. All right, so killing bacteria, killing viruses, killing fungi, really big deal. Now, this is used topically, though, not internally. So it's even been shown, especially like on counter surfaces, to kill MRSA, E. coli, Staphylococcus, Salmonella, Pseudomonas, and even biofilm-forming organisms. So potentially that means parasites or other items like that. So really powerful. What we use it for, why we got a bottle for our family, is that we love being outdoors. We love, playing, having fun. And sometimes that comes with cuts and scrapes and bruises and those types of things. I have 2 daughters and they're always outside playing. So what does it do? It helps with faster wound healing. it's probably the fastest and the best thing for it. Faster wound healing, reduction in overall inflammation. As I said before, really amazing for cuts, burns, scrapes, and for other people, which we'll get to in a moment, like type 2 diabetics, chronic wounds, right, that don't seem to heal. Great product for that because it works with your immune system. It doesn't overpower your immune system, it works with it. So that's one of the great things about it. You can actually use it on the face as well. So oral ulcers, even on the tongue and gums, like maybe you have gingivitis, right? Or you might have a thrush, a fungal-based infection, which obviously should be worked on internally with something like the CBO protocol. But again, you can work on that. And then one reason we're getting it this summer too, and just trying it out, is for bug bites. So if you have bug bites, helping to reduce some of that inflammation, balancing healthy levels, of course, just like your immune system would do, and maybe taking out a little bit of that itch. All right, so what are the other times or clinical applications that hypochlorous acid are actually used? Diabetic ulcers, so outside, skin-wise, pressure sores. Let's say someone's recovering. I'm working with a bunch of clients right now. By that, I mean about a handful of clients that have gone through cancer-based therapies and one not cancer-based therapy, but they're a little bit bedridden just for the moment because of a joint replacement. So all of these things can be helpful, especially if you work in the medical-based field. Post-surgical incisions, that's another one that I haven't used it yet with patients, clients in that regard, but that could be a great application to help with surgical incisions, healing faster. Eye or oral-based infections, maybe a conjunctivitis. I still use colloidal silver for that, but I would definitely be open to using this product in between colloidal silver applications. Dermatology-based issues, eczema, psoriasis, another great use. And then with babies, diaper rash. And so that's a great way to use it potentially as well. Can't give any medical advice, but for a product that essentially costs $20, pretty easy to have at home with all your other health care-based items. All right, magic molecule. I don't know if I can link it up. I'll try to link it up. If the FDA, FTC, if the team allows it, we'll link it up for you. All right, but again, if not, you can find this on Amazon and a lot of healthy websites, magic molecule. All right. The book that I wanted to bring to you this week and is right here. It's 4,000 Weeks, it's called. When you hear something like 4,000 weeks, you're like, that's crazy. But then when you think about it, what is 4,000 weeks? 4,000 weeks is how much time we humans are allotted on average in our life. And it's actually a little generous. It's about 80 years of life, 4,000 weeks. So when we think about the overall picture, we're like, oh, 4,000 weeks. Well, I know what a week is. That doesn't seem like that many, right? So maybe some people it sounds like a lot, some not that many, but it's called Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman. And I wanted to share with you, if you haven't read it before, and maybe you're not going to read it, or you took a long time to get to the book like me, even though it's been a bestseller for at least a year. I don't even know how long it's been out. I guess I could check that, but does it really matter? Probably not, right? I read books from 100 years ago. I don't care if a book's been out for a year or two. But here's the thing. We humans only get 4,000 weeks. Now, when you hear that, at least me, again, subjectively, this is just me, an N of one, I'm like, well, I've got to hurry up and do everything, right? And that's what the book exactly teaches you not to do. You have a finite period of time in your life. And so what you really need to do is not make yourself busier. Because what does that mean? Well, then you don't live in the moment. You're always living from task to task. But on the flip side, you still want to make the most of your life. So it's like this strange dichotomy. Don't give yourself so much busy work, but at the same time, don't waste your life. So it's finding that happy medium, which I love. And I read these books and I'm like, oh, where were you 10 years ago? Where were you? But, we read these things maybe when they're right for us. And I've already moved in that direction. I really have. Like I look at my 12-week year that allows me to only focus on 1 to 3 goals per quarter maximum. 4,000 weeks has really taught me what? Well, you can't do everything you want in life. And I know that seems like really strange, but here's the thing. I actually believe that you can do everything that you truly want in life, but when you decide what you really want, you then have to say no to a lot of other things. Like that's the way that it gets done. So, we're pulled in a million different directions, but sometimes they're not directions that we necessarily want to move our life. That is when we need to learn how to prioritize, set goals, and use time management for what truly matters. So, I mean, I thought it was fantastic. It's kind of coming to peace with we live in a finite period of time. Now, are people listening to this podcast going to only live to 80 years old? No, I hope not, right? So like my philosophy on this, and I'll talk about this on another show, is that I'm going to do everything I can to live as long as I can, at least to a healthy 100. That's my goal. But I don't have a full say in that, right? Like, because there are mysteries to this world. So basically, I always say, like, with the universe, you partner with the universe, you partner with God. And how you look at it is, God or the universe has the ultimate say, but you're at least going to do your part, right? That's how I look at it. Like, I'm going to do my part. And I'm going to do the preventative based. I'm going to do the de-stress protocol. Like, I'm going to do all the things. And if I find something early, I'm going to take care of it, right? I'm going to live an anti-inflammatory, healthy based lifestyle. I'm going to exercise. I'm going to move my body. I'm not going to overdo it, right? Either, right? There's that balance, true balance. But at the same time, I don't know how many years I have. And if it's only 70, if it's only 80, if it's only whatever, let me maximize that time, stay present, really, and just enjoy my life. That's a big part of it, right? So anyway, it's a good book, and it really brings you back to we are human, right? It's unlikely we live forever. Even if we push the boundaries and we get to 120, amazing. But all of those years should count, right? And don't just fill it with busy time and busy work. All right. So that is my book review of the week, and it's a great book. I read quite a few books. And I like to just bring you the ones that I think have meaning. And they're not always going to be the latest and greatest health book and this or that. I try to bring you a daily health topic, but books that provide real meaning to your life. And so this might be a good one. All right. I want to bring you a study, as I said, on autoimmune issues. This one specifically is rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis affects tens of millions of people just in the United States. But here's what I want to share with you. This goes for all autoimmune issues. Not maybe specifically this heart issue I'm going to talk about, but all autoimmune issues do not just affect the thyroid, right, for Hashimoto's, or MS on the nervous system, or RA on the joints. That's not how it works, right? It affects the body systemically with inflammation, and it is first then found out as to the thyroid or the joints, etc. All right, well, what am I saying? Well, with rheumatoid arthritis, people with autoimmune disease, rheumatoid arthritis, were almost 2 times as likely to develop heart failure than similar people without rheumatoid arthritis. So, the most common form of heart failure developed was heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. The muscle in the left ventricle stiffens and is unable to relax, causing the pressure in the heart to rise. So why does this matter? Because you have to understand is that all autoimmune issues are inflammatory in nature. And if the inflammation is mainly felt in the joints, let's say with RA, okay, understood, but it's happening over the whole body. And it's also stiffening the valves in the heart. And if that happens, the heart becomes weaker, stiffer, less able to provide its proper function. And so when you mask essentially with rheumatoid arthritis, you're taking a biological drug a lot of the time. Now, biological sounds natural. No, it's an immunosuppressant. You're taking an immunosuppressant to shut off the part of your immune system that is breaking down your joints. You're like, oh, well, that's great. Now not as much pain. I get it. That's a short-term win. Totally understand. Now, there are much more natural ways to do it, but the inflammation doesn't just stop at the joints in that part of the immune system. It's now affecting your heart. So what I would say is if you're an integrative health practitioner, if you're a clinician, we want to get to the root cause. If you have a loved one, you want to get to the root cause. The root cause of autoimmune issues are gut, stress, heavy metal deficiencies. It's the de-stress protocol. The best way to figure it out is run the Big Five. Run the Big Five with the Ecolife team, run it with an integrative health practitioner, run it with your local naturopathic doctor, whoever you want to run it with, run it. Figure out the root cause. Trust me, it's a lot less expensive than decades of pharmaceutical use and also the shortening of your life. You can find those Big Five labs at stephencabral.com/big and the number 5. And of course, you don't have to work with our team, but at least know what they are. And then you can get to the bottom of any autoimmune issue. All right. The last study of the week is collagen and how it can support knee joints, but what it does not do. I think that this is really important because I like to stay unbiased. So this was done on aging individuals that have been shown to have reduced collagen. And what does that lead to? Well, it can lead to more stiffness and poor elasticity, or just over elongation of the tendons, and it results in more risk for injury and basically breakdown of the knees. So let's look at it. It was a double-blind, randomized controlled trial, which I love, that examined the effects on 12 weeks of progressive lower limb resistance exercise. That basically just means like squats and lunges and deadlifts, etc., with a collagen-based product or a placebo. And what they had them do is they did twice weekly resistance training, and they were either given the placebo or collagen plus a little bit of vitamin C. And this is an important note because there are now newer studies, which is why I love bringing you the newer studies as well as what we've always known, that shows when you take vitamin C with your collagen and you really only need 50 milligrams, you can take more vitamin C, no doubt about it, but a little extra vitamin C helps collagen go a long way. So pretty easy, a little extra vitamin C. Maybe you get that from food in a smoothie, your citrus-based fruits or other high vitamin C, have a kiwi, however you want to do it, or just add a little bit of vitamin C. Amazing, right? Amazing synergist for collagen. Well, here's what they found. The outcomes of the study included dietary intake, body mass, muscle strength, power, architecture, explosive torque production, and rate of torque development, patella tendon cross-sectional area, and patella tendon mechanical properties. After 12 weeks of high-intensity resistance training, the men, this was a study done on men, supplemented with hydrolyzed collagen demonstrated enhanced patella tendon cross-sectional area stiffness and young modeling. So it's basically the stress to the strain, more than resistance training on just its own. Although this study shows collagen enhanced the benefits of resistance training in regard to patellar tendon properties, the study did not show added benefits for muscular size or explosive strength. Now, it's only 12 weeks, but I wanted to share with you this. I agree. You're not supposed to use collagen to build muscle. You can use a plant-based protein or a whey-based protein or goat whey, which would be even better. So it's more hypoallergenic. Okay, so amazing, right? You got those, you're good to go. Collagen, though, I've always maintained collagen's a great product, but you use it for the hair, the skin, the nails, the tendons, and the joints. So you add that to your protein shake and you don't even need a lot. We use a 5-gram, 3 patented ingredient version of it that's been clinically proven to work. And so what I would say to you is like, this is important because if you want to save your joints, you like to exercise, you like to move your body, you like to ski, you like to play tennis, you like to play pickleball, whatever it is, and you want to keep those joints safe for years to come, the tendon stiffening sounds like it's a bad thing, but it's not. The tendon stiffening is actually what you want. It's what allows for stronger joints. It allows for more explosiveness. That's why, although I don't believe you'd see a lot of muscle size gain, I do actually see, and you believe in time you would see more explosiveness, or maybe not explosive strength, but explosiveness, because if the tendons are tighter, they're naturally more explosive, because when you pull a tight elastic band, not a loose one, but a tight one, it springs back faster. And that's what the tendons are all about. So again, I'm not trying to sell you on collagen, but collagen is legitimate, but just don't believe the hype with muscle building, believe the hype with the hair, skin, nails, joints. That is where it's really great for. We use a product called Advanced Collagen Support. You can find everything that we use, labs and everything in our functional medicine practice, integrative health practice at stephencabral.com/shop. But of course, always feel free to work with your practitioner and use whatever they recommend as well. All right, everybody, have an amazing start to your weekend. I'll be back tomorrow answering our questions on the Cabral House Calls. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.